Well,
Nice.
the tournament is gonna start.
Right now, yeah.
Well, guys, the tournament is about to. Not tournament. Live event is about to start. We the people.
I see people.
No, me too,
Oh
dude.
yeah.
I'd be getting so many kills right now.
I'm recording a video right
They're
now.
dropping out height. They're dropping out height.
They mad, they high.
Okay.
Thinking the badge is
Back in the
better than
police, back in
having
the
some
police.
heart.
Okay.
Okay, look now,
Come
look now,
inside,
look
come
how
inside.
they
Come
running.
in,
They
yeah,
beating
right
white
now.
people down just to show us what's coming, or to show us we nothing, or to show us we only welcome when singing or balling. Shut up and dribble. Word. High, rock.
Oh my god.
Hey everybody, I'm Carrie Champion. Welcome to We the
No,
People.
no.
So today we are having a very candid conversation
Wait,
with
why did you
athletes
go there?
and artists who want to make sure that you use your voice
Okay,
to vote.
but how many
Voting
points did you
is
get
your
in the
voice.
tournament?
So we have so many different issues that are
That's so
happening in
bad.
this country. It's really truly unprecedented time. So
Because
I'm
in the
looking forward
tournament,
to these conversations.
no, you can get a
People
lot
be
of points in
educated,
this
as well
tournament,
as
right?
entertained, but most importantly informed. We have morethanavote.org,
Yeah, but
weallvote.org, and fairfight.com.
yeah, but
Those
if you and
resources
me,
are
no,
imperative
if
as
you
we
and me
try
played,
to
we could have
change
got like
our future.
more, right?
No penis. I have two.
Yeah, la.
There's no
Me
way that we
too.
can talk about hip hop
Yeah,
or
I
even
just
the
did
fact
one.
that we want to talk about activism, black voter suppression, without bringing in this guy straight from Port Arthur, Texas. We are talking about Bumby. He is an
Senpai.
activist, a scholar, and an all-around gentleman. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. Bun, I don't want to start heavy, but I guess I have to because that's where we are in the world today. It's heavy as hell. And when you think about what needs to happen in this country in terms of change,
Senpai,
what's the
if
first thing that
you and me played it, we could have done better.
Equality.
No offense.
That's pretty much the first thing that comes to mind, right?
We could have
Black
got at
people
least 100.
need to be seen as equals in this world. You know, we had to fight just to be recognized as a full citizen in this country and not 3/5.
The world is now seeing what we've known for so long in the culture and in the community. The one way that we
I know,
can
but
fight
if
is
you and me
obviously
played, we
voting.
could have
Talk
done
to me
at least a
about what
little
voting
better,
means to you.
right?
I hear people all the time talking about one vote doesn't matter and that voting doesn't make a
Yeah.
difference. If that's true, why do they work so hard to suppress
The
the black
tournament is
vote?
not that
Because
good.
they understand
Not
the power of
tournament.
the vote. And
Event.
so it's time that black people collectively also understand the power of their vote.
Yeah.
And not just on a national level, because a lot of times we only have this conversation every 4 years. People need to be very much involved in their local politics. They need to understand who their elected officials are, where they stand on issues that affect you. And you need to use your vote to either support the ones that care about you and your condition, or to elect people who do. A newer initiative that we're dealing with is
And what the
educating felons, right? So in the state of Texas, if you're a felon, right, if you've been to jail or to prison, but you're no longer on probation or parole, you have the right to register to vote. Another thing that was just brought to my attention, there's an initiative called Orange, which is happening not
Oh
just in
my god.
Houston, but all over the country. If you're in jail currently during pretrial, but you have not been convicted, like you're still in jail waiting for your day in court, you are still eligible to vote.
And you said something so key. They work so hard to hope that we stay uninformed, but more importantly, to suppress the black vote. If you could do one thing with this message that we're trying to send today about how important voting is, what type of images would you like for people to understand and see when they go to these polls and vote or when they cast their ballots?
I think the images that we've all seen, you know what I'm saying, for decades in this country, if not centuries in this country, we've seen black people oppressed. We've seen black people
oh,
I
and
attacked.
see.
So every time
Oh
there's
my
a
Senpai, we can
felony,
play the
god,
you see
tournament in
those
OC
old black
server.
and white
It's live.
images of people of color being attacked
Oh
by
my
dogs.
god,
It's
girl, you're
Senpai.
turning
being
10.
sprayed with
Wow, you're
hoses. That's what they were
good.
We can
fighting
play the
for. Back
tournament
then,
in
they were
OC
just
server.
fighting
It's
for
live right now.
to vote. People like Martin Luther King
The
Jr., people
tournament
like Malcolm X,
I'm
Aqua
turning
Night
10.
these people
Yeah.
died to help us be in a position to
No,
have
not
the
the
power
second
that we
round, the
have
first
now,
round.
which is to be able to cast a vote and make a decision about the people that have controls over
But
our
I'm on
lives.
the record this
So,
event.
I mean, if you in your own community need a reason to vote, look at a person like George Floyd. If the people in your city are not open to police reform, are not open to having the conversation about defunding the police, are not open to issues concerning economic equality, judicial equality, and racial equality, right? If they're scared to say Black Lives Matter, you have the power to put people in those positions who do believe that Black Lives Matter, who do believe in racial equality, economic equality, judicial equality,
That's right.
right? Who see us as human beings. And if the people in your community don't feel that way, vote them out. It's that simple. Just vote him out. We don't have enough
Oh
time
my
to sit around
god.
and hope
That's
that
it?
people
That's what
change
you're
their
gonna say?
minds.
Yeah, Bumpy, you point out something so important. We have the power, and that is in our vote, and that is with our voice, and that's how we use our voice. I think of where we are right now. People say this is a particular moment, but it is a movement, not just a moment, it is a movement. Why, in your opinion, was it George
Let's go.
Floyd's death? Why was that the chosen brutality for people to say, oh my God, black people are still oppressed in this country, and it is not fair?
I think it's twofold, Carrie. In so many different encounters with between people of color and the police, there simply is no proof of what happened in the interaction. And so what happens
I'm
is in a
getting.
court of law,
I'm just
it
gonna.
tends to lean towards the policeman's point of view, right? In this case, we saw very clearly what happened. I think the other thing is due to the fact that everyone was at home, basically during this time period in relation to the coronavirus. You couldn't avoid it, right? It was on every television station. It was on every social media platform.
Mediocre.
Everywhere you
What?
turn, you were constantly hit upside the head with this message. You see in the interaction
Yeah.
that this man did nothing to deserve what happened.
That's right. So well said, because if you think about it, in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't worth it, and he didn't have to lose his life. I think that you touched on something that a lot of people talk about, and that is now defunding the police. That has been such a huge conversation, but there's so many misconceptions around defunding and dismantling.
Philippines joining.
If you will, educate the audience.
All right, so most people, when they hear the term defund the police, they tend to think of, oh,
Too much
they're going
haram.
to take away our police department. Nothing could be further from the point. Defunding the police means that in certain communities, even in Houston, take for example,
Some
we
kid.
had over $1 billion allocated to our police force. Now,
Hello?
what is that money being used for? Some of that money tends to be allocated towards riot
Oh, so
shield,
now you're gonna
right?
sit and
Pepper
play
spray,
Apex all day?
right? That kind of thing. That's
And then at
only
night.
used against the people that fund this
And then
budget,
at night you're
right?
gonna
So
be like,
why would the
no,
people
I never
want to
played
supply the police
Fortnite.
with the
Please,
means
let's
to
play
oppress
this.
them? If
Oh.
the police are concerned about the situations in certain communities with a higher crime rate, well, higher crime rates tend to happen in communities where there's not there's not
I'm not playing at
employment
5 o'clock. I'm
opportunities,
playing till 2.
right? There's not a lot of social services, and people are going to do what they need to do to take care of themselves and their families. When the community has more opportunities for employment, more opportunities for upward mobility, then they tend to be a less of a strain on the government. They tend to have a lower crime rate, and because of that, we'll have less need for the police
Wait.
in those communities.
You are passionate about so many different things in terms of making sure that we are holding our leaders accountable. Talk to me about some of the other projects that you're working on.
Well, right now, obviously, being a part of More Than a Vote is essential. We're dealing with primaries in this country right now, and we just want to educate
Yeah.
people. We want to inform people because people are
I'm
tired,
I'm the
they're angry,
sacrificer.
they're
I'm gonna leave
concerned,
for
and they
her.
want
I'm gonna
information
leave
and
for
they
her.
want action. And so we want to make sure that
No,
we
no,
give
no.
them the right
No,
information
no, no.
and lead them in the right direction. And we thank the people that do not look like us for standing with us right now, because it's very important that people who aren't black
My bro is
be
gonna
involved,
slap
because
me.
if black people could have gotten rid of racism, we would have done it hundreds of years ago. And so I'm trying to use my voice and my platform just to let people know that if they feel like I do, there's a number of places they can go to enact change in their community. People need to know
And I
about
don't
how their
have
city
choices.
council runs. They need to know that they have the ability to speak when city council meets, to let them know that that's not the way that they feel their city needs to be run. Those are not the places that they feel the money of their
And
community
Bud,
needs to be
I'm
allocated.
going to game chat
and Bubby,
to
you
talk
go a
to
step
this
further. They can
SSG.
run for office in their local community. They can run for positions. Like, people act like they leave it up to somebody else. If you're upset, it's not hard to get on the school board. It's not hard to be a part of the city council. It really isn't. And depending on how small your town is, you could be a mayor. It's the power is with the people, and we need to just know that that's happening.
Absolutely. And it's always been with the people. You know, if you look at Trayvon Martin's mother, Sabrina Fulton, right? She felt that there was a system of racism and a system of oppression that led to her son's death. And so what did she do? She ran for city council and she was elected
Yeah.
city council. Our own former president, 44, Barack
Um,
Obama, right? Started in the community as an activist, ran for an elected position, became senator, ran for another elected position and became president of the United States. So don't think that you can't make a difference.
eh,
You know what I'm saying? You don't need a
eh,
lot of
eh,
money. You don't need a lot of power. Your
kag
voice is
SSG
enough to
Musa.
make a difference.
Amen. I feel like I need to go out and run for something. You gave me a rousing
No, no,
speech
no.
there,
I mean,
sir. I'd
he
be
told
remiss
me,
if I didn't ask you this.
he told me that he
When
wants
I talk to my brothers, I have to ask you, as a black man, how are you doing? Are you okay?
I'm good. I'm good. I have a very strong
you,
relationship with God,
scream,
so
scream.
prayer definitely works for me. I have children and grandchildren who are watching me who are encouraged by what I do, and they're proud of me right now,
Okay,
and that's
I'm
really
making a
what
group.
matters. The change starts at home, so as long as you have a
Okay.
support
Yeah,
system
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
believes in what
Wait,
you're
I
doing and
want to talk.
supports you in what you're doing, you have everything you need to go out there and fight the good fight.
Okay.
And for those that don't, there's a
Okay.
community of people here to help you. So you can go to places like morethanavote.org. There are many different places that will encourage you, inform you, and they will put you with groups of people that feel like you, that are ready to take action. So no one has to go about this alone if they want to do it.
I'll
And
just send you
we're
so
stronger
quickly.
together. People have been saying it, but that has much more meaning now that we are in our movement, not just this moment. Bumby, it has been an education, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Keep fighting the good fight.
Keep up the good fight.
Yeah,
Guys.
la la.
So our next guest, I have to admit, I'm a fan, but there are so many different people that we could talk to, and I thought it was so imperative that we speak with her. You know her as Molly on the huge, successful show
Yeah.
Insecure, HBO's Insecure. She
And
also
our
has a
voice won't
comedy
be
special
together.
highlighting her Nigerian
It's our
roots,
voices are gonna
and she's an
sound messy.
amazing podcaster. Let's welcome in Yvonne Orji, everyone. You have such a beautiful way of making things funny, giving us our medicine with some candy, right? The humor and the healing. You bring all of that to your space. And right now, as you look across this country and how everyone is so broken and so upset, if it's not social injustice, it's the pandemic, it's depression, it's unemployment, the list goes on and on. How are you doing, quite frankly?
I'm rediscovering self in a way that is hard but necessary, that will lead to ultimate joy. I know it sounds like a lot, but no, I think I personally think that God put all of us on a global timeout. Like, we just, America hasn't done as good as other people when it comes to timeouts, because everyone else is out playing at recess, and we're still in the principal's office hoping and wishing we can come out. But I think that if we settle into the timeout and really learn the lesson that we're supposed to learn from this season, I think we'll emerge better. We'll learn how to play well with others in more ways than one. And so personally for me, I'm taking this time
Do you people know
to
whose
learn
birthday is on
me in a
August
new
4th?
way. I feel like I'm being ushered into a new season, and I'm getting still,
Do you
because
people
sometimes the
know whose
busy
birthday is on August 4th?
confounds the
No.
work that we're supposed to actually
No.
be doing. We're busy doing other stuff, but we got work that we need to do on the inside. And I'm leaning into it. I'm like, dang, I thought I was gonna be able to rest like everybody else. And God's like, nah, we got work to do.
Do you people know whose
You
birthday
know
is on
what? And
August
I think
5th?
that's what everybody is saying about 2020. It's demanding that we be better. And you said it's a global timeout. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, it's like, everyone sit down, be humble, to quote the great prophet Kendrick Lamar. But like, no, seriously, sit down and let's reevaluate some things. Let us unearth and shake up the things that we have been trying to hide within ourselves, within our nation. I think America is going through an unraveling right now, a much needed, a much necessary one. And I think all eyes on
Yeah,
us,
once he
right?
joins,
There
he's gonna be
is
like, hey
no,
guys.
oh, I was on the subway for an hour, so I didn't miss that thing that happened. No, everybody was home. Everybody, was watching when George Floyd died, and everybody, no one could hide it. Everyone was watching when Amy Cooper called the cops. Like, this is a time where it's like, oh, we can't pretend it away. We can't excuse it away. No, 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 no. It's a global timeout. Sit down, watch, and let's learn. And globally, it's like, hey, we were going business as usual, but it ain't
Yeah.
usual no more. Like, that's old. Anytime change occurs, it's very
No,
uncomfortable.
but
And so
what if
right
she
now we're
tells us
sitting
it's
with
my birthday? That's why
we're
I'm thinking of
getting
it.
we're getting comfortable with the uncomfortable.
The minorities, we've been comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that to me explains just the existence for whatever we want to do, how we break into our careers, how we live our lives, how we find ourselves one of the few or one of the first. And that's a lonely road. When you look at, and when you talk about this global timeout, everybody had to pay attention to Amy Cooper. Everyone had to pay attention to George Floyd. How is that helping us as a people, as a country, during our global timeout?
I think, well, one, we're not minorities, Carrie. You already know it. It's like these labels that they put on us. It's like the same way of saying, like, black on black violence. Also, there's no white on white violence. It's branding,
Yeah,
right? It's all branding.
Right. You're
It's
right.
like
Yeah.
white people kill white people
But
every single day.
I'll
So
try
no,
my
there is
best,
no black on
okay,
black violence.
to
And if you
enable
say
social
black on black
listening.
violence, well then let's brand white on white violence. Like I watch
Mhm.
Investigation Discovery. Ain't too many of us being featured. So I just even like but to answer your question, what does that do? I think what everyone expected is what has happened in the past when the world was still open, right? In that, okay, you had everyone
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's perfect for
from
me. That's
Trayvon
perfect for
Martin
me.
to Castillo to Sandra Bland. You had all of these lives lost, and black people made some noise. We rioted, we got out in the streets, we started the Black Lives Matter movement, all of those things. And then white people kind of just like, oh, let's give them something. And then it's just like, is it over? It's like Oscar is so black. Okay, okay, good. We gave some Oscars. Are we good now? Like, are we even?
Mhm.
And it's now it's just
Mhm.
like, oh no, 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 no. This is not about like a band-aid. It's like, yo, we might have to amputate the leg a little bit. But it's all right because we're going by amputating the leg, we're gonna save the body. And so I think that's what's happening now. Like America is realizing like, oh, black people aren't just making a little bit of noise. Like the protests are still out, the conversations are still being had, the change is still being demanded. And I think they're seeing, oh, this is not going no way. And no, it's not, because we need systematic change.
What a beautiful way to explore what is happening and describe our country. We might have to amputate the leg, but that's to save the body. That's what's happening right now. That's beautiful, Yvonne.
Yes.
And to that end, I have to ask
Put
you this
creative now.
because the
Put
way that
creative
we
now.
do
Put
that, we
creative now.
use our voice. And our voice right now
Okay,
in this world, in this country,
Senpai,
is
I
our
invited
vote.
you. Senpai, I invited you.
And everyone talks about voting and how important it is, but I feel like more than ever we understand that it's not just about voting every 4 years for the man in office. It's about your local elections. It's about the mayor. It is about the district attorney, the people who have the power to bring charges against police if police brutality is an issue in your community. If you
By
care
the
about
way,
the school district, you can run for the school board. I ask this
I'm
of
not
you,
her best
right? Your
friend. It's my
parents
little sister.
are from Nigeria. You are Nigerian. You talk about that very lovingly. What does voting mean for you?
I think voting is power. I remember, I became a naturalized citizen back in
What's her favorite color? What's her
the
favorite color?
90s, when because I was still a minor. My mom naturalized, and so we were able to do it under her. And just even that power of like, we are American citizens, and all the access that we have by being citizens. One of those
I'm
access
gonna
is
go
the most
after
access
like
to power being
maybe
voting.
15
It's a
minutes.
big deal. It's a big deal because not only are we do we have the opportunity to be in this country, but now we can be of the country. We can be of the systems. We can be of the
Five
rules. We
o'clock,
can
I'm
be
not
of
playing.
what it actually affords. But I think going back to your earlier comment about just the setup of systems,
Yeah.
I think we are done a disservice. Either it's schools or whatever it is,
Where's
and I'm
my
not putting
Where's
teachers on
my
blast. I
okay,
think
there it is.
teachers do a
Come here.
phenomenal job, but for some reason we do
No,
not. And
yeah,
and,
okay,
and give them
15
all the
minutes.
raises. I know too many
No, but
parents who are like,
I'm not gonna be. I'm not gonna be.
this
Wait,
child of
no,
mine,
not
we
in
love
my
you,
island because
but
I'm not gonna be
hey,
online like at night. Okay, how about you guys can play with Amira, okay?
drop them off.
And like
And
do
I
the
do think that there's a disservice done because, again, when we talk about voting, to your
okay,
point,
senpai, fine,
we talk
fine,
about every
senpai.
4 years. It's important to vote for the presidency. We don't realize, like, oh snap, we actually can
Senpai, you're
vote
about to join
about
my
like
island.
how much our libraries get. It's like small things like that, but they
Just
make a big difference.
When you think of voter suppression in this country,
yeah.
what does it look like for you?
It's the systems. When we talk about voter suppression,
I'm
we
gonna
also talk
make.
about systematic racism,
I'm
right?
gonna do
It's
music
all
blocks.
the systems that's set up, and we've normalized.
Um,
Okay, maybe your
grid,
job will
grid.
give you a half day, or
Whoa! Oh
maybe
my god.
you'll be able to get this
That's good.
luxury. It shouldn't be a luxury. It
That's
should be
good.
built into the system. It should
I
be
no
built into
jump
the
off,
fabric of
jump
how
off.
we vote. But maybe you'll be able to get this luxury in
No,
order to
just
enable
jump.
you to
Like
go
just
vote.
jump and you'll
Think
come
about
back here.
everything disenfranchised, marginalized
Okay, I can't.
black person has to endure in a
Okay, I
day.
can't move.
So in a
Okay.
day, you need to get to work. If something happens to your car, if something happens to your child care, if something happens to, there's so many factors along the way that can send you into a tailspin as an American. And then you add on as a person of color.
Oh,
If
it's
you're just
probably
trying to get to
purple. It's
vote
probably
and you
purple.
already have to go through all of these hurdles and hoops in your everyday life, imagine the one day when your voice really is supposed to matter the most in this country. But then you also see all the times that you try to have your voice matter and then it's been shut down, repressed, told it doesn't matter,
Oh,
and then you're kind
wow.
of like,
And the brightness, like, make it a little
How do
more.
we keep hope though? If I'm watching this right
Oh,
now, I want to.
Give me,
How do we
yeah,
as a
give me
people
some.
stay hopeful? How do we believe in the promise that these quote unquote forefathers have given us?
because have you met black people? By default, like hope is infused in
The
our
cake, yeah,
DNA, and it's
I'll get
like,
it, I'll get it.
like if we haven't been broken now through,
Okay,
be it
so
through
here,
slavery, through capital,
this is
Give
our
it
spot.
to
This is
me.
our spot for
Give it
making.
to me.
colonization, through segregation, through, you know, I mean, listen, the history of black people in this country is, at one point we were 3/5 people. That's it.
At one,
That was a written law. And look at us now. We are whole. We are black girl magic. We are black boy
Guys,
joy.
I'm
We
gonna
are,
video
Okay, wait, let me get